You know what's wild, folks? The moment you stop caring is the moment they start obsessing. It's like magic. You've probably heard it before, but never really believed it. You've tried everything. Sending that extra message, putting in more effort, being there when they needed you. And what happened? They pulled away. They'd barely noticed you. They started treating you like an option. But the moment you stop, suddenly, it's like you're the center of their universe. Why? Because when you stop chasing, you start winning. Now, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe because you're here to change your mindset and level up. You're here to learn the real secret, the Stoic way. And trust me, once you get this, everything starts shifting. Hey folks, imagine this. You're standing in a room full of people, holding a glass of water. There's someone in the corner constantly talking, trying to get everyone's attention. They're doing everything they can to be noticed, laughing too loud, telling stories that don't even make sense. But then there's another leaning back, calm, collected. They're not saying much, but somehow, everyone is drawn to them. Why? Because they're not trying. They're comfortable in their own skin. People notice them without even trying. That's the key, my friends. The moment you stop trying so hard, stop chasing after someone who doesn't appreciate you, everything changes. The moment you pull back, you stop overgiving. They start to wonder, what happened to you? Why aren't you calling them anymore? Why aren't you waiting for them? They start realizing what they took for granted, their control over you. But here's the kicker. You don't need their validation to feel complete. I know it sounds crazy, right? You've been told your whole life that love, connection, and relationships are all about effort, about proving that you're worth their time. But guess what? That's a lie. People don't respect what they don't have to earn. They don't appreciate things that are constantly available to them. Ever had a song you loved so much you played it on repeat over and over until one day it just didn't hit the same anymore? It became background noise. But then one day, out of nowhere, you hear it again. And suddenly you miss it. You crave it. The absence made you realize how much you care. Stop caring. They'll start missing your presence. You're not playing games. You're simply respecting your own time. You're pulling back to reclaim your energy. And you know what's even better? Once they realize what they lost, they're going to be the ones chasing, not because they suddenly love you more, but because they miss the control they once had over you. They miss knowing you were always with me right now. This with me right now. I am the prize. I don't chase. I attract. Write it in the comments below, folks. Let it sink in. That right there is the mindset shift that will change everything. And before we move on, remember, hit that like button and subscribe. Stay with me because we're about to dive into more Stoic wisdom that will change the game for you. Believe me, once you stop giving them your energy, that's when you'll see just how powerful you really are. Stay tuned, it's about to get even better. Number 1. The emotional paradox. Why letting go draws them in. The more you let go, the more you gain. Seneca. Sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? You've been taught your whole life that to win someone's heart, you have to give them everything. Chase them, prove you care, show up time and time again, and make sure they know how much you're invested. But what if I told you that the more you care, the more you chase, the further they pull away? What if the real secret to attracting someone is to let go? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably asking yourself, but what if I let go and they forget about me? What if they move on to someone else? What if they stop caring altogether? Those are real fears. I get it. You've been trained to believe that the more you give, the more you'll receive. But in reality, the exact opposite is true. When you overgive, when you chase after someone who isn't fully invested, you start to lose your power. You become like an open faucet that never shuts off. Always giving, always available, always pouring out your energy. Let me break it down for you with a simple metaphor. Imagine you're holding a ball of yarn. You're the cat, And the ball of yarn is the person you're chasing. At first, the ball of yarn is exciting. It moves around in unpredictable ways, and you can't wait to catch it. But after a while, it gets tiring. The more you chase it, the less fun it becomes. The more predictable it gets, the less interested you are. But here's the twist. When the yarn stops moving, when you stop chasing, suddenly it becomes the most interesting thing in the room. It's no longer something you can always get. It's now out of reach. And that's when the real attraction happens. That's exactly how human relationships work. When you're always there, always chasing, always eager to please, you become predictable, boring. But the moment you pull back, the moment you stop chasing, they start wondering, why aren't they reaching out anymore? Where did they go? What happened to them? They begin to crave your presence because now they don't know if they'll ever get it again. And let me tell you, folks, when something becomes scarce, it automatically becomes valuable. You see, desire intensifies when something seems out of reach. This is a principle that goes way back to the Stoics. Seneca himself said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That means when you're chasing someone and losing control over your own emotional balance, you're giving away your power. You're allowing someone else to control your happiness, your feelings, and your energy. I know this might be hard to swallow. You're thinking, but if I stop trying, I might lose them for good. And that's where the fear comes in. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of losing control. But here's the truth. If you stop chasing and they disappear, they were never fully invested in the first place. If someone can walk away the moment you stop giving them all your attention, that's their loss, not yours. And let's be honest here. How many times have you chased someone only to feel drained, frustrated, and undervalued? How many times have you given so much only to watch them walk away, or worse, act as if they didn't even notice? You've been taught that giving more means being loved more, but in reality, it means you're watering a plant that isn't growing. You're draining your energy on someone who may not appreciate it. I get it. The fear is real. You think, if I stop giving, they'll stop caring. But this is where the lie gets broken. The lie is that your worth is tied to their reaction. The truth is that your value doesn't decrease just because someone else fails to see it. Your worth is not tied to whether someone notices how much you care. The only person whose opinion matters in this situation is you. Now let me ask you a hard question. What would happen if you stopped chasing them? What if you took a step back and let them come to you if they wanted to? I know that sounds scary. It sounds like you're giving up, right? But here's the thing. Letting go is not giving up. It's taking control. When you stop chasing, you reclaim your power. And here's the kicker. When you stop chasing, when you stop seeking their approval, you suddenly become more desirable. Why? Because they'll start feeling the absence. They'll feel the void. They'll realize that the person they took for granted is no longer around. And guess what? When something is gone, people don't just forget about it. They miss it. This is the emotional paradox, my friends. The more you stop caring, the more they start caring. The more you let go, the more they start obsessing. But let's be real here. It's not going to be easy at first. You'll feel the urge to break the silence. You'll want to send that text. You'll want to call to check in. Your brain will scream at you. What if they forget about me? What if I never hear from them again? These are the doubts, the lies that keep you in the cycle of chasing, overgiving, and losing yourself. But this is exactly what you need to break free from. The truth is, when you let go, you give space for real connections to flourish. You give yourself space to grow. You give yourself the freedom to stop worrying about their every move, their every response. When you stop chasing, you stop reacting to every little thing they do. You stop basing your happiness on their availability or attention. You start focusing on your own growth and peace of mind. And that, my friends, is when you become untouchable. So say this with me right now. I am valuable, and I do not chase. I attract. Write it in the comments below. Let it sink in. Let it become your truth. This is where your power lies. You're not here to beg for anyone's attention. You're here to own your worth and let them come to you if they truly want to. Now hit that like button, subscribe, and stay with me. The best part is coming, because once you stop chasing, once you stop fearing their absence, that's when you unlock the real secret to attraction. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Let's keep going and get ready to discover what comes next. Number 2. Breaking the illusion of control. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. You've heard it before, my friends. If you love something, let it go. But let's dive deeper into that, because the truth is, trying too hard to control the outcome in relationships never works. You think you can bend someone to your will, make them see how much you care, force things to happen the way you want them to. But here's the hard truth. The more you try to control, the more you push them away. It's like holding on to sand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're in a relationship, or even just trying to connect with someone. You're constantly thinking about how to impress them, what to say next, how to make them feel good, how to avoid making a mistake. You're hyper-focused on their reactions, on how they're perceiving you. Now that may feel like being in control, but what it's really doing is setting up a game where you're constantly reacting, not leading. And when you're always in reactive mode, you're not living authentically. You're living in the shadow of their approval. And that's not a place where real connection happens. It's just exhausting. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic